Is the man in your life a procrastinator? How do you light a fire under his butt? Or can you even do that? Joining us now with some helpful advice on how to stop putting things off is the founder of Smart Ways to Work. Welcome back, Odette Pollar. Good to see you again.
Thank you.
So for the ladies at home who may have a man in their lives who's a procrastinator, right, how does that affect life? What does that do to things?
Oh, it certainly affects, because what happens is people say, why don't you do it? Why don't you do it? And so here's some things you don't want to do. Okay. You don't want to nag. It's likely to make the procrastinator just put his heels in and say, I'm not doing it now on principle.
Right,
okay, so
right.
Don't nag.
You might dig in then. Yeah.
Right, right, exactly. And don't try to use guilt as a motivator. No version of, if you loved me, right, you would... Again, heels like so.
Right.
And don't take it personally. Separate the behavior from the person. He's fine. You just don't like this behavior. And he's often not doing it against you or to get at you, necessarily.
So I guess the key is then don't take the negative approach.
Exactly.
Okay, so now what might be a positive thing that you can do then that would encourage him to, you know, get going?
Right. Well, there are a number of things that you can do. One is understand that for a procrastinator, often it's a really complex activity, behavior, thought process. So you might see it as a simple, please replace this item here.
Right.
They have tied this to replacing another item, to replacing yet another item. Right. They've created this train.
Yeah.
Okay? So start small, help them break it into smaller segments, and help, work with them.
Yeah, but it's a natural tendency, isn't it? Don't we all procrastinate a little bit?
Yeah, to some degree.
So when does it become a problem? How do we recognize that it's serious?
Right. It's only a problem if it gets in your way, it starts to bother other people, you start making a lot of promises and breaking them, and the worst is when you begin to not believe in yourself anymore, because your integrity is based on doing what you say you're going to do, and once that erodes, it affects your self-esteem. So if it's occasional, don't worry about it.
Right.
But if it's getting in your way, then it's an issue.
Yeah, okay. Now, have you ever been a procrastinator? Has it ever been a problem in your life?
I have done it on occasion, and so the things I really dislike doing, I do them first, because the day can't get any worse, and I don't have to worry about it. So what I want to do is I want to cut through the buildup of dread and anxiety, which starts... So if I have an uncomfortable phone call, I do it first. If I wait until 3 o'clock, I'm not in the mood. Tomorrow will be better. Okay. So I force myself to do it.
So for all of us who procrastinate at some point in our lives, let's go over some basic tips. I know you say it's important to set a date and to have consequences.
Well, if you're working with somebody else, rather than nagging, just say, yes, you're going to take this fence down, by a certain time. Let's have an agreement. If you don't get it done by June 1st or April 15th, then I'll hire somebody to tear the fence down. Agreed? And here's the thing. Yeah. After the agreement is made, you never mention it again. You don't say, time is come, it's going to be the 15th, you better... Never again. Okay. And if it isn't done on the 15th, then on the 16th you hire the person. You don't yell about it. You don't scream it. You just do what the agreement is, but let them alone. You don't care if they're there at midnight doing this. Okay. Now, something you touched on earlier, and that is breaking your task or your goal down into increments, into little pieces, as opposed to trying to do it all at once. Right. Procrastinators often see things as being larger or bigger than they are. So if you can help somebody break it down and say, well, I don't think we can do all these 3 steps because, remember, we have relatives in town. How about these first 2 and the 3rd one after they leave? Because sometimes they're unrealistic. Right. Helping them is not the same as, here are the 6 steps, and I think you should do this by this time. That won't work. Right. But working together and getting them to think it through and be more realistic. Now, you say we should be decisive, but don't try to do it all ourselves. Exactly. So if the person doesn't do what you've agreed to, don't snatch it back. Right. And just do it yourself. Oh, I see. That's what you have to be careful of. Right. Honor the agreement on both sides and move forward, but don't just take it back so it's no longer that person's responsibility. And I want you to expand on something you also mentioned earlier, and that is separating the behavior from the person. Just enlighten me a little bit on that. How do you do that? What do you mean by that? The behavior is not geared toward you necessarily, because people procrastinate for lots of reasons. It might be for power and control, because not starting something is a form of control, actually. Or it might be because they dislike the activity. And so depending on what the underlying motivator is, really helps you identify what strategies to use. So it's not about you, it's about a particular behavior that's uncomfortable. So helping them understand how it impacts you or how it impacts the family. Can we work on this together? Not you're a bad person because you do this to me.
And it
That's
might
what
help you even like yourself better if you're the procrastinator.
Exactly.
And you're trying to stop that cycle of behavior in yourself.
Exactly.
Just recognize you're not a bad person because you procrastinate.
Right. Exactly.
It sounds good. I'm going to start working on it tomorrow.
Exactly. Don't rush into it.
Odette, thank you so much.
Thank you.